I'm sorry, I'm going to break your heart. Number 2, Roberto Carlos. Number 1,
No,
Dani
no,
Alves.
I knew Hassanin, you were gonna get disappointed.
No, who's number 1?
Dani Alves, number 1.
What?
Number 2,
Roberto Carlos?
Roberto Carlos, number 2.
Rubbish.
Hassanin, I think you gotta understand.
You
this.
gotta understand something. Wallah, let me understand something.
Hassanin, wallah, he's heartbroken.
Wallahi. You understand something, yeah, wallahi? And
let him.
when talk about GOATs, yeah? Roberto Carlos, technique, he can switch the ball, he can cross the ball with his back heel. You're there from the corner.
He scored the corner before, by the way.
Wallah al-Azim.
He scored the corner.
Shots, cross the ball, lockdown defender.
Hey, the goal
Body.
against France, huh?
Engine, come on.
Engine.
Shughl.
He can be see the greatest goal, arguably one of the greatest goals of all time.
The
Probably
greatest free kick of all
greatest
time.
goal of all time.
Greatest
When the
free
ball went
kick,
like
Yeah, against France.
Have you seen his recent free kick like him, Roberto Carlos? You know where he went? I went to Mars, nigga. That's where he went. Boom!
You ever talk about when see anyone do what Alexander-Arnold as both position? Roberto Carlos was having fun at them.
Mudris, you actually want to do the intro?
Wallahi, yeah. Shall I do the intro, boys?
Go
this
for it.
episode?
Go for
I
it.
want to support like him, wallahi. What do you reckon, wallahi? Shall I do it? If not,
You
tell
know
me to
what?
shut up from now.
Let
wallahi.
him do it. If he doesn't do it good, we're gonna have to redo it. Lagin, because it's to test you, because you're laughing at him 24 ساعة, yalla.
Who, Azam?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Nah, it's good, wallahi. I don't want to do it.
Give us an intro.
Buckled, wallahi.
You want me to do it? I will do it. I'll do it for you, Azam. I'll do it for you.
All right, Hassanin, give us a go.
Hamd, the haircut is fire.
Thanks, bro.
Right now. Welcome to the Galacticoz podcast.
Well, I can do it, wallahi. If you seriously want me to do it, I'll do it, wallahi. It's not that hard.
Welcome to
wallahi.
the Galacticoz.
Boys, how about all of you shut up and let Azam do it, bro?
How's it going, people? And welcome back to the Galacticoz podcast. Today,
I made a mistake in the list. I made a big mistake.
brother, I didn't even introduce what we're
I
doing.
forgot a name.
Let's
Azam, he wants you to add the name.
Exactly, I want you to add the name.
Sorry. We have to get started. Khalas. You got the brief. You sent me your list. That's it. There's no more changes. Anyhow, today we are doing the top 10 fullbacks of all time. The only thing we're not doing is adding Maldini. Whoever added Maldini, I just took him out because we already spoke about him.
People did add
Yeah.
Maldini?
I think
After you sent that message?
I forgot a name, another name. I didn't put Maldini.
Someone put Maldini.
You made it clear on
Hey,
that.
but, can I make a comment about this? This is the only list where they can only be unanimously one number 1.
Exactly right.
He's already starting.
We know
who's
who
number
it
one.
is.
I
But
think we
it
better
can
start with
only
number
be
2.
one number 1, and it's not Ronaldo, Messi, Pele, Maradona. No. Only one.
I think
According to you, okay.
Not according to me.
According to
According to
everybody.
anyone watch football.
No, but
there can only
I
be
think
one.
Hassanin, there's gonna be disagreements, and you're gonna get riled up like that because there's a lot of people who made the list that support different clubs.
No.
And there
no.
are some people, and by the way, there's some people who didn't watch the same plays that you did. This guy that you're talking about right now, I know who you're talking about. Don't say him yet.
How come you know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about because I saw your list. That's why.
He's the GOAT. No.
What kind of dumb shit is that? How the hell is he gonna know, wallahi? What kind of dumb shit
He's
is
the
that,
goat,
wallahi? But
That's a low moment for you, Hassanin.
He's the GOAT.
Anyhow, let's get into it.
that's my Hassan.
Was he the one? We can't talk about it now. But listen.
Wallahi, you guys laughing that hard at these comments? Is that funny?
It's just a complete miss. That's
He
why.
was going in on Azam. How do you know the voice?
Azam, when the biryani hit him too hard, wallahi.
Anyways, let's go. Let's jump into this. Before we do, we have to reveal how many players were actually named. Can you guess how many players were named?
25, 20.
15.
I reckon 40.
No.
Abdullah, what do you think?
25,
Man,
26.
fullbacks, man.
Fullback said not only football, not rugby and
Nah, there'll be a few.
Overall, we had 28 players mentioned.
See,
too
I
much.
was close.
Too much.
I was
That's
close. No, it's not too much.
That is way too much, wallah.
It's not
Out
too
of
much.
10,
I tell you why. I tell you why it's not too much because we have too many Premier League fanboys. I'm sure we have some trash players.
That's exactly the reason why. There's a lot of currently playing players, and that's probably why we got that high. But
there should be prisoners. I'm sure there's a few prisoners of the moment.
No. But I tell you what. Actually, I'll
let's
explain
get into
when
it.
we
Let's get into it later.
When we
Anyhow,
get to that.
I'm sure we're gonna hear Kyle Walker somewhere. Yeah.
before we jump into it,
Kyle Walker,
make sure
of
you all
course.
like the video, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and let us know what you think of the list today. All right, boys, let's jump into it. Coming at number 19, we've got 2 players sharing the position. The first player, Pablo Zabaleta, and the second one, Andy Robertson.
Okay, I put him. That was
So-
my howler. That was my howler.
Hassanin is the one that put Zabaleta,
Yes.
And Mohamed Reece is the one that put Robertson.
Robertson. Oh, who would have thought Mohamed Reece put Zabaleta?
Boys, wallahi, you guys are disrespecting me wallahi these days, wallahi. I love Man City. No, but me, when I pick out Man City players, no, because I
He
pick out.
doesn't rate Zabaleta.
No,
And we
because
thought
I
he did.
don't rate it. Because when I pick out City players, I pick out because they're quality, wallahi. Not because they just played for City. You guys are making it seem like just because they have the City top, I chose them. No, wallahi. If they're quality, I choose them. Zabaleta, if we're talking about this list, no way, wallahi, for me.
I'm going to explain this, by the way. I'm going to explain
we'll
this.
just
I only put him there because he's a quality player, and I run out of players, great players.
He was good.
You ran out of great players.
He was.
Trust me.
No, I agree with you,
There's a
Hassan
few
Zabaleta.
crazy ones that you missed.
Well, I agree with
You
you.
didn't run out. You just forgot.
there's a lot of
I agree with
obvious
you,
ones.
but
I
good.
forgot one person I wrote.
Who's Zabaleta?
Huh?
And Robertson, and I love Robertson.
I tell you why I put Zabaleta there, by the way. First of all, he's a very consistent player, and he played for a long time. I think 10 or 12 years.
More, I think.
Yeah, and he was very consistent. And you don't have to worry about wingers or anybody if Zabaleta is playing that game.
No, I think it was a bit plain, like in Hassan.
He can be beaten, wallahi.
Yeah.
He can be
I
beaten.
think Andy Robertson is one that you could say.
And I
okay.
think
Aye, for
Andy
me,
Robertson,
yeah.
in terms of Muhammad, that's Muhammad's type of player. Like a player that effort,
He
hunger.
puts the ball in.
Yeah,
Liverpool have been winning since but unfortunately the other player in that other flank takes the rap from me.
Wallahi al-Azim Hassan,
Don't get into that yet,
No,
though.
wallahi, yeah, sorry. But that's one thing, wallahi. I reckon, wallahi, it's up for debate, wallahi, that one. It's not as, whoa, as... The guy has a nice...
No.
He has a nice... on him. That's why he gets that hype for me.
Let's not talk about that guy just yet.
But
He's
it's
gonna
not
get his turn.
Robertson's quality. There's no one that can say that can hate on Robertson.
But the quality that I get from Robertson, that's why I put him more than that guy.
I rate him, but I think this is his best. Like this is
Yeah,
his
and I don't
ceiling.
think he get that. I don't think he can get into the top 10 because of his best. That's it.
That's the ceiling.
Yeah,
I don't
that's the
think
ceiling.
he can go any
Why? Because he
higher.
doesn't have like a foot on him and other. Like you gotta have that extra.
No goals, no like it's his, and his assist. It's his assist, Muhammad. No. But he's like your classic British fullback.
The classic is Zabaleta.
If we're talking about one-on-one, wallahi, you're gonna have a more hard time than nigga on the other side, wallahi.
All right. Let's move on. Let's move on.
about
So
it
those
too
two,
much,
they were voted for by only 2 people, and they were put last, so they only got 1 point. Number 18, we've got 4 players: Carvajal, Ivanovic, Trippier, and David Alaba.
Trippier, wallahi. Come on,
This is what
bro.
I'm talking about.
Carvajal.
Premier League players.
Carvajal, yes, wallahi. Carvajal is unbelievable, wallahi.
Yeah, he can make it.
He's unbelievable.
How many you put him on your
لا
list?
كارفاخال
I put him on my list too.
كارفاخال كويس لكن بعد الاصابه جاته ما تعبان مره صار والله يعني اول 3-4 سنوات كان كويس مره وكان حيتطور كان حيصير احسن لكن مع الاصابه مع مستواه ما اقدر اقول
دي النقطة اللي كنت حقولها لك. Do you think he's average? Do you think anyone could have done that job for Madrid?
No way.
لا أنا خلي محمد بيفهم مدريد.
لا والله ممكن صح والله اتفق شوي في النقطه دي شويه لكن الفريق كان قوته قوي اوكي لكن برضه ما كان في لاعب غير
هو يجيب حد يبين anything to the team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He
Does he
brought
bring
everything
anything?
to the team, bro. He completed that team. That team was missing a fullback.
عبد الله عنده نقطه صراحه يعني انا كارفاخال احبه كلاعب لكن وقت اليمين كان فريق قوي حتى لما جت اصابه مين لاعب ما كان في ظهيرين من الفريق كله ما كان فيه كان يلعب فاسكيز زيدان رجع فاسكيز ولعب الفريق كان ماشي عادي
والله محمد عافا.
حتى ناتشو لاعب يمين المركز هذا
Wallahi, me, I would never have thought. Wallahi, the guy got injured. By the way, he's playing wallahi right now. Wallahi, he doesn't look like a guy that got injured. Wallahi,
He's very hard but
wallahi, al-Azim, his performances that he's putting in. Wallahi, I would have never thought he got injured.
I mean, he's trash then. He's trash now.
I'll make a point. I just want to make a quick point. The reason Chelsea made it to the final last year is because Carvajal wasn't playing in the semi-final. That's the only reason Chelsea made it to the final last
You're giving
year.
him way too much credit.
Wow.
Exactly.
No. Way too much credit.
Him and Benzema were missing in the second leg.
Look, wallahi lazim, if we're being
he's
honest,
also
Trippier and Carvajal, and maybe Alaba, maybe a bit more. They could be on the same level. But the one that stands out to me is Ivanovic. That is the only person that
How
put
does
him in
Trippier
there.
not stand out to you?
I tell him I'm mad at Trippier because Trippier when he's at Tottenham. Look what he brought to that position. He went to Atletico Madrid, look what he done to that position, and now he's been since Newcastle have bought him. No, they bought him. They haven't been losing.
No, I strongly disagree, Hassan. I
I don't
strongly
know.
disagree.
First of all, was he even a starter? At Tottenham?
No. Mush.
He was.
I think how good he was at Tottenham isn't as good as how Kyle Walker was at Tottenham. First of all, that's my first point. Secondly, going to Atletico Madrid, that's a defensive team. Any defender, because they're so well
What about
drilled
England?
by the coach.
What about the way he played for England at Euros?
For England, he's not even going to start in the World Cup. You're going to see that. He's not even going to start in the World Cup. In the Euros, Gareth Southgate loves him so much because
He had a good tournament.
He had a good tournament.
He had a good tournament, bro.
He had a good tournament.
Yeah, and how many trophies did he win? How many trophies did he win?
You can't
Yeah, how many
bro.
trophies? Yes, how many?
If he wasn't in the England
We're
team,
talking about greats.
there's right backs that could have done the job.
I'm not mad at him. It's not much.
And for Newcastle, they bought
He
a
affects
bunch
winning.
of players.
He affects winning.
It
Wallah.
wasn't. It's not just him.
He affects winning, sir. He affects winning. Wallahi. It's all about how you rate your position. Do you know how I rate that position? Abdullah Rickens make that comment. So tell me what he said at the start.
Easiest position
You
on
can see
the
what he
pitch.
said.
I also think it's the easiest
That
position.
is-
I think I thought what I do now. It's not
Wallahi, it's
easiest,
easy.
but athletic. If you're athletic enough, it can cover up for your
I'll
football.
tell you why it's the easiest because if you're not athletic, you could actually play there.
You can.
You can easily play there.
And that means because you're talking about yourself, yeah?
No, wallahi.
When you move from midfielder to fullback, yeah?
Very easy, wallah. You don't need any knees for that position.
What
let
a,
me
what
tell
a,
you.
what a
Wallah.
masterclass by that coach, by the
But
way.
if you bring to that, if you can impact the game from that position, your team's almost unstoppable.
Anyone who's a failed centre back, failed midfielder, failed anything, winger, they can play fullback very easily.
That's why Lucas Vasquez is still at Real
Say
Madrid.
something about me or what, brother? Wallah, he named all the positions I'll probably play.
No. Wallah, anyone who can't, I guess, can't make it into the team in that position, they can just slot.
You know
into
what,
the
but
fullback.
that's one thing I do agree on, wallah.
Mohammed,
I want
I'll tell you why.
I want to say something.
Go.
The only reason Liverpool lost the 2014 Premier League because they didn't have fullbacks that year. That's the only reason.
Where are you pulling those things from? Like, you're making a big
Finish
claim
the
here.
opinion.
Trust me. When I see a team in any game, when I see them struggling to win, you can.
You look at the fullbacks with the
No, I don't look at the fullbacks. You can actually tell where the problem is when they don't have fullbacks.
No, Hassanin.
They struggle with counter-attacks. If you don't have fullbacks, you always struggle with counter-attacks.
Of course.
And you definitely lose.
No, with counter attacks, yeah, that's understandable.
And when they bring something more than just like when they're not liability and they actually bring something,
Yes.
it affects the game completely. Wallah.
Exactly.
Maybe only because it's for Liverpool, because Liverpool depend on that.
It's not Liverpool, any other team.
No. I want to go back to the point.
If you are a
point
fullback,
that Mohammed said,
your
Dagiga.
number one duty is defensive. Defensive.
That can be
duties or
argued.
whatever, you know what I
That
mean?
can be argued. أول حاجة.
Okay.
In terms of a system, Liverpool. That's not something you see so often. A team being so reliant on their fullbacks. أول حاجة. And then Mohammed was saying it's not an easy position if you have a good winger. It's easy to manage if you understand the position right. If you don't get dragged out defensively, if you get the midfielders to help you, if you stand and just delay and force them back, whatever, you can get away by being okay defensively. And in terms of on the ball, that's the area where there's the most space and most time on the ball. Whenever you get it, you've got plenty of time. Unless a team is like,
But it's the biggest liability.
and they don't usually press fullbacks. Man, it's
They
usually
do all
the
the
centre
time,
backs.
bro.
No, it's usually the centre backs.
No.
The fullbacks is always the out ball, Hassanin. You play into the midfield and he passes it out.
Any
The
counter
fullback is
attack,
the-
any
is
counter attack
the
is the
out ball.
fullbacks.
All right, let's move on. Number 17, we've got another 4 players. Some of them only mentioned by a few people, and that's it. We've got Maxwell, Maicon, Carlos Alberto, and Cancelo. Carlos Alberto, who can you guys guess who put this player in?
Some Barcelona fan.
Who else? Ammar put him in and
Because
Ravel put
wallah,
him in.
someone needs to tell Ammar, wallah,
team.
stop typing in best fullbacks on Google and going through the list from 1955 all the way to here, wallah.
This is number
This
17.
is ridiculous, wallah.
Maxwell, you're the only person who put Maxwell.
number 17, please? And why nobody else mentions Maxwell, please?
Because Hassanin, tell us his credentials. Tell us his
I'll
achievements.
tell you.
Yeah.
First of all, he's
I
bad.
don't know who. I can't remember.
Yeah, of course, you can't remember because he is the most. He's the most.
PSG, sorry.
He's not a PSG fan. First of all, he's the most underrated fullback in the entire history of football. He played at Ajax with that winning team that played with Abramovich, and he played at Juventus, Inter Milan for I think 6 or 7 years. And Barcelona, the team that actually won all the 6.
And he barely played, cuz. Wallah, he barely had a game.
Because wasn't it Eric Abidal and Dani Alves that time?
You know why he played for 1 or 2 seasons, I think. That's all.
Hassanin,
Wallah, I
the only
think you
thing
know
I
who came
remember
into my
that
head?
goal.
That name? That Collingwood's defender, wallah, Maxwell. Wallah, I forgot that nigga played
Anyhow,
football.
I reckon-
Keep that shit sport away from here, wallahi.
Hey, watch your mouth, bro.
Wallahi, keep that trash sport away from here.
And he was the shittest captain in AFL history too.
Wallahi, we're not even going to get into this bull crap. Wallah, so
I just brought up that guy because I forgot that this guy. I forgot this guy played football, wallahi. Maxwell.
Anyhow, the other player, Mohammed, you're the only person who put him in, Maicon.
Michael, wallah.
You know, I was gonna put him on too.
He
Wallahi,
had a
but
good stint.
he had a good team, but
But
then Gareth Bale. buried him that game.
Taxi.
Gareth Bale?
Yeah, wallah.
I've never seen a player get buried like the way Gareth Bale. He put him in the coffin and threw the dirt on him and told him goodbye. Wallahi. We prayed the janazah for him that night. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, he had a good career, wallahi. But you know, you picture someone, like a moment where a player just gets dusted, and that's all you remember. You know what I mean?
But if you do you remember his goal in the World Cup?
Yeah, well, that's unbelievable.
You can't
So
believe
me,
that.
I had to see who am I gonna put as the lower numbers of my list, because I put all the hectic names, and I had to think of someone like that had an extremely good stint, and it was that guy. Wallah.
The last player that I want to talk about on number 17 is Cancelo, who's looking really good right now, looking like he could play on both flanks, right and left. But it doesn't seem like a lot of people rate him. So
I rate him, wallah. Very good, wallah. Very
Because we don't.
No, wallahi.
That
He's
might
good,
have something to do
I
with
said, wallahi, if you're not rating him, wallahi, then you're not watching football right now, wallahi. Wallahi, straight up, wallahi. If you haven't watched him, say I haven't watched him, and that's it. The issue is, because you don't even know half the city squad's names. bro.
Muhammad
Last time-
Hassan, what nationality is he?
Portugal. What, how do you say Azam? How would you say?
Portugal.
Portugal.
That's finished.
Because wallahi, sometimes he
Just gotta end something with
Sometimes
it.
he comments. Sometimes he comments on players he hasn't seen before, wallahi.
Yeah,
He hasn't
no,
watched enough of
Then
them.
Muhammad,
So you
hating.
can't.
I've watched him play. I don't rate him. He's a passenger on that team. Anyone can come play there
not a
and win.
passenger.
Enough.
And people are debating him and Trent Alexander-Arnold, wallahi, who's better. So I know what you're saying, wallahi. So how can you put someone that low?
He's one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League. Well, I think he is.
He's the best. He's the best right now.
He's one of the fullbacks in the Premier League. He's had about 2 good seasons. Let's fall back.
That's how people are talking in the world, bro.
Let's fall back on him being a top 10 of all time.
No, but Hassanin, in terms of a fullback having like skill, like as in tight situations,
He's good, man.
passing is good.
Defending,
Like,
going
He's
forward.
almost not even a fullback, bro. He's
Yeah,
like
I think
midfielder almost.
Which is a lot of part of City's game. But like when you look at players, you think Edison can play midfield. You know, this guy, he can do multiple jobs, going forward, back. He can do everything. So I actually didn't put him on my list, wallahi. But
It's too early for him, wallah.
it's too early, wallahi.
for him.
Like to say, يعني واحد سنة was saying trash وبتاع.
No, he's
what
not
are you
trash.
talking about, wallahi?
One of the best, wallah.
That's why. Huh?
He's not trash.
Hassanin, but
the best right now.
when you think about a fullback, you think fast, like just an engine, like how
Was he better than Leighton Baines?
Yeah, 100%.
Who is this guy, first of all? Who is this
You're
guy?
just bringing up Everton players. That's it.
No, wallah, I rate him, wallahi. See, I actually watch Leighton Baines and I rate him, wallahi.
Leighton
I
Baines
watch
was a
him.
good 7.5 out of 10 every game. But Cancelo's skill level in terms of
Baines is like Coleman, cuz. He does the job for you every game, but he had more of a...
consistent niggas like him. but-
Coleman's this longevity. I'm talking about like great. For me, greatness is not a 1 year stint, 2 year stint. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
He's
nah,
going to be great for a...
Leighton Baines is alright.
But in 5 years, if we have this list, the Cancelo might be there.
And that's where my
will
gun
be.
falls off, I think. I thought about him as well, wallahi, but I was like, what do I remember? I just remember like those 2-3 years in Inter Milan, and that's it. I don't think that's enough to enter.
Nah, wallahi, I reckon, wallahi, he had a good stint at City too, wallahi. When he came, wallahi. He
Anyhow,
actually did pretty well.
let's move on. Number 16, Dennis Irwin. The only person that had him was actually Ammar, Dennis Irwin, again.
Ammar
Wallah,
at Google.
Azam, I don't know why you keep considering his list. Wallah, I don't know. You need to bring him here to defend those.
Yes, he needs to
finished
come here
choices.
and defend himself.
Ammar, from now on, Ammar, how about I do this for you? I'll just go on Google.
We'll all copy paste. Don't worry.
copy paste.
Yeah, wallahi. Wallahi, these kind of players, they can't be put on the
No,
list,
but
wallahi.
Dennis Owen, even Ammar, I don't think would be able to tell you anything. I'm not even sure if it was a left or a right back. I think he was a left back for Manchester United. He might have been in that treble winning
He
team.
was the treble winning team.
Yeah.
I remember him playing.
He's a left back.
I remember him very
Solid
I
left
remember
back.
like him very like vaguely, like you know what I mean.
Yeah. He's the first person that they used to say a consistent 7 out of 10. Like he was consistent.
He was a good defender,
Consistent,
great defender.
yeah.
Would he be on this list, man?
He
I don't
was.
think
He's
so.
when you jump on the tram, you look for a seat and sit on it, and you know to drive the tram. That's what he was. Wallah.
Passenger, big passenger. Khalas, let's move on. The player that you just mentioned, Hassanin. The player that you just
Is that the
mentioned.
next name?
Yes, that's the next player, number 15.
I'm not the one that said it. I'm not
The only person that I can't even pronounce his name.
Listen,
Lizarazu.
just never watched Rosario. No one had him.
Who is he?
France 98 the World Cup winning team.
The best fullback in the late 90s, bro. You know, from 98 2001, you went to Singapore in 3 years. He won the World Cup, the Euros, the Champions League in 3 years, bro. In 3 year stint.
Yeah.
He was the best player, and he was the best, one of the best players in a World Cup and great teams.
You know what surprises me? When people mention the 98 team بتاع France, they say Zidane, Petit, Lizarazu. That's who they say. Like, you don't even hear Lilian Thuram. You don't hear his name.
Lizarazu was one of the most effective players.
You hear him first.
Wallahi.
That's
In 2000
always.
in 2000 Euros. With France, starting always, and in Bayern Munich 2001. He was one of the best between 98 to about 2004. He's probably the best defender in that.
Was he right back or?
Yeah.
Playing the Farmers League.
No, he did play for Farmers League.
You're trying to test him,
Bayern Munich, yeah.
Huh?
Bayern Munich, is it?
He played Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich was a great team back then, bro.
Yeah, the Farmers League.
Wallah, when I was alive, it was a great team.
No,
Hassan,
but
wallah,
come
just-
back,
Just make up your mind on these farmers. Which
At
other
least,
farmers?
at least he can explain it. Like,
I just want to know
Yeah, well,
what
let-
other
let him
farmers
explain
league.
what-
Wallah, at
What's
least
the
he
farmers
can actually tell us who he was, how he played.
No,
Last time, you know, when Azam put Cruyff, all we heard is that.
Crickets.
What do you mean? Cruyff,
I still
exactly.
think
That's
You
Wallah-
told us he's a farmer, but you didn't tell us
No,
he's
no,
growing
no.
potatoes.
I still
he's
think
growing
Cruyff should
corn.
be in there. Wallah. No. Cruyff should
I watched
definitely be in there.
I watched a documentary, girl, and he stood out, and that's it. Wallah.
No, no,
At
I
least
didn't
this
say
guy's
that.
telling
I
us,
didn't say
wallah,
that. I
he
didn't
how much. At least Hassan saying, wallah, what he won.
No, no,
Hey,
no.
man, who's the left back, by the way?
Who?
There's a reserve.
I was talking about Cruyff. Cruyff, wallah, should still be in that list.
No,
Wallah,
no, no. You can't argue with Azam. I tell you why. Because when if you look at the history of football, Johan Cruyff's name's always
Yeah,
mentioned.
what about Franco Corso? What's his name? What's his name? The pasta guy. What's his name?
Di Stefano? No, no. I tell you what.
Franco Corso. He was in the list too, wasn't he? Ain't no one remember that nigga, lame nigga.
That was the strikers list, you geezer.
No, but at least
Cruyff can be in there. Wallah. Cruyff changed football, bro.
We're not
Cruyff
talking about
started the
that,
new total football, that kind of thing. Anyways, let's
He's the Razoo. Shout out to you, bro. Wallahi. And any young, and I can't believe you guys don't know who he is.
Yeah.
You guys never heard of him? You guys don't know who he is at all?
Del Maegro.
We don't watch the Farmers League, that's all.
This is a Razoo. You know what
Farmers
about
League,
World
Farmers
Cup?
League.
What about Euros?
I only watch Zidane, that's all. Look for
Anyhow.
Zidane and watch him.
The next player, number 14, I didn't even put him on. Big Barca player. Could be considered like a legend right now.
I think so.
Jordi Alba.
Oh, I thought you said Dani Alves.
Who put Jordi Alba there?
Wallahi al-azim,
reveal to you.
Azam, Azam, wallah, you're a Barcelona fan, yeah? Azam, wallah, how...
Idris and Samathar, the only ones to have him.
Azam, you didn't put him on your list?
No, I didn't.
Azam, wallah, be honest, yeah? You're a Barcelona fan, yeah?
I am.
How effective has that guy been for your team, wallah? Consistent,
First-
Azam, consistently,
first
wallah.
years.
He's a brilliant player. I just said he could be considered like a legend at Barcelona. No. But for me, top 10, I don't think he can break through.
Wallahi al-azim,
I
that
don't
guy
think so.
is so good, bro. I've never seen someone... How old is he, by the way? He's 30...
He's in his 30s now.
He's in 30. Wallahi, he has an engine of a guy.
That's why they bought him.
I think this guy's an example of Hassanen's point before when he said it's a position where you can rely a lot more on your athleticism.
Yeah.
You don't have footballing ability.
And
in terms of a touch on him and passes, he looks a little
No,
bit out
wallah,
of place.
he gets a
in
lot of
wallah.
assists. He gets a lot of assists.
He does, wallahi.
No,
He
I'm
does.
not saying
Has the
that.
boy- the
I'm
boy-
saying
the
on
boy's
the
got
ball, he looks out of place at Barcelona.
Yeah, bro, wallahi.
Like when he used to play with Xavi Iniesta, he looked like the most nervous on it. Yeah. He looks like he's the most nervous on it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's more athleticism.
The boy's got a motor on him, bro.
Yeah.
I've never
Engine.
seen a
But
motor.
you can't say like he doesn't understand that position very well. In terms of like even when
But
he's
Muhammad, he can be physically pushed. He can be beat.
But a
bro.
lot of these fullbacks can, wallah, Hassan,
No,
wallah. Let's be
not-
honest,
not
wallah.
top 10.
Hassan, wallah, a lot of these top 10s, wallah.
Those are my list.
Actually, wallah, the ones at the top, wallah, if we're talking, they couldn't be pushed, wallah.
They can't get bullied like that, Muhammad, wallahi. A player like him can get bullied off the ball, wallahi. And I've seen it happen, wallahi.
Yeah, but this generation of fullbacks, wallah, you don't, when you look at a fullback, you don't see his body. You don't think this guy is gonna have a body on him, okay? The centre backs, they're the ones usually that have a body on him. This guy, like him, he has an engine on him to the point where that shit doesn't really matter. wallah.
He's Muhammad's list. Who else?
I respect you for that.
Samatar.
Samatar, I can't bag Samatar because he's religious. So I don't want to give him a hard time. You know what I mean? I don't want that drama.
Let's move on. This next player
Wallah, it's gotta go.
rated very highly by someone who was on the call with us. Tamir, you put Reece James on your list, bro.
Not just because he played at Chelsea, but because of his technical ability, his defensive attributes, and he's just an all-round great
Goal scoring too. Goal scoring as well, Tamir, yeah?
goal scoring form. You know, he can defend well. He's strong.
Kante is doing all the defending for him.
Close to
No. Hey, Tamer, wallahi, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad.
Where did he put him, Lakin?
Where did you put what number?
I'll tell you now.
Number one.
Number three.
Like Rudiger's the greatest defender of
Number
all time. Mush Adamid?
Nah, he put him number 3. Wallah.
I told you. I know it's number 3.
Tamer,
How?
wallahi, you had me, now you lost me.
Yeah, wallah. He can't be ahead of. There's too many names.
Tamir, bro, you can't put this guy as the
Number
top 3
3.
of your greatest, wallah, Azim. That's when the Chelsea bias thing start coming
And
in,
recency
wallah.
bias too.
And recency bias too, wallah,
why
to be honest.
why the bias?
Tamir, he's not. If we're talking greatest fullbacks.
Tamir, this is how you got to think about it. Given what he has achieved so far, should he be considered to be top 10 of all time? Or are you saying by the time he's finished, he's going to be in that list? Because right now, he shouldn't be in that list.
I think right now he should be, bro.
Abdullah, I don't blame him for having him on the list. I know the ranking that he has him on.
I think because of Reece James, Chelsea won. He played a massive part in winning that Champions League for them.
Agreed.
And not only that, he's such an effective player, bro.
That Champions League was because Mohamed Reece's mate Pep Guardiola choked.
You know what, Abdullah? You know when you said Tamir, he doesn't watch like football at like generally, first of all, like overall, like other leagues and stuff like that. And in the span of time, come on, like he hasn't watched it over like the years to say the big names that we all know. This is a good example of it.
He's not interested in going back.
You know the names that come up to our head when we're talking about greatest fullbacks, which we'll get to probably later. Tamir, for these names, will never even cross his mind because he doesn't watch football. This guy to that level, you know, he watches thing week in week, Chelsea week in week out for the last I don't know how many few years ago, and he's gonna tell you Reece James, these type of players.
Let me make a point about Reece James first of all. If you are a fullback and you have 3 shots on target or 7 shots on target in a game, that means you're not doing your job and so you're getting carried away in your defensive duties. That's all.
That's an overstatement, but
it's a statement, bro.
You can do both, bro.
No, there's teams that dominate games. They play in the other team's half.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing. He's always attacking, and never goes back.
He's in a good team. He's in a good team.
Exactly.
That dominate games.
But he's not leaking. There's no goals leaking from his side.
You know why? Because he's playing in a trash league and nobody's attacking him.
Trash league, girl.
I tell you something. When they played against Man City, that's one of the few games that they lost this season. When they played against Man City, they couldn't even make 1 shot on target. Chelsea. And all the attacks and everything, even the goal that Man City scored that game came from his side.
But that's what Abdullah's telling you. But that's a good team, cuz that's why he has to defend.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
when you're Chelsea and you're dominating Burnley, he doesn't need to go back, cuz. Wallahi, bro.
Anyhow. Let's move on, man. Wallahi, we spent so much time on Reece James. But this next one is very interesting. Number 12, we've got 2 players sharing this position. Ashraf Hakimi and Alphonso Davies.
Hassan, have you watched Ashraf Hakimi?
Respect,
you haven't, yeah? So you can't comment.
I respect both of them.
I put Alphonso Davies on my list. Alphonso Davies, I put him on my list.
Yeah.
He came number. I'll tell you why.
I
know a GOAT when I see one.
You put him number 9, I think, on yours.
Like, you know what comes up to my head, Wallahi, Davies? The way Di Maria galib like that game. Di Maria, when they played, I think it was against PSG.
I thought he was unstoppable until then.
Until
and
Di Maria put him
the other day when I was saying like Di Maria, like we were trying to compare him to the other players. Di Maria is so skillful. It doesn't matter how quick the other guy is.
Di Maria can put anyone in the blender.
Anybody, like this, brother.
And that's
no problem.
And that was one of his victims, Wallahi.
He's the only player. He's the only player that can. But Di Maria is one of the all-time players when it comes to that. Di Maria, when he plays on the field, he feels like he's better than everyone else on the field.
Yeah.
He carries that kind of swag on him. Hakimi, I don't really watch. I watch him play for France. He plays for France, doesn't he?
Nah, Morocco.
Moroccan. Is it Moroccan?
Yeah.
You're probably talking about the game against PSG, the recent game where they got knocked out. He had a very good game, like the first leg.
Second leg, Vinicius, Galeo, where you at? Wallahi ta'abu.
I tell you why.
Huh?
What do you think of that guy? Do you think he's Shoya guy
you had him on your
Katurwa?
list, bro.
Yeah, Ashraf Hakimi, I rate him so highly. You know why? Because he's the type of fullback that can carry a team.
But he's not a fullback, by the way. He's not a fullback.
No, man, that's what I'm saying. Because he's got abilities in terms of his shooting, in terms of his decision making in the final third and set pieces. He's like Morocco. They could give him number 10 shirt. He's that important, cuz. And the same for PSG. Why would they? And the clubs he's played for already. It's a joke. He's played for Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, and now PSG. I think he's like 23.
Milan, bro. Inter Milan, he won the league for Inter Milan.
And I think he's only like 23. He's so like he's a player that any team would take in. Right now, any team in the world would take him.
I don't really watch much of him, Malai.
I tell you something. You know what Zidane said about him for Real Madrid? Because he never played. He almost never played for Real Madrid because he was there for Real and Zidane couldn't play him. Because Zidane said he is the only talented player that I have in the team that I actually don't know what to do with him. Because he's not a fullback. He's not a fullback.
Yeah, and he can't play in the front three because he's a winger. But
he's a right wing back. So when he played with Conte, when they played they had 3 centre backs, 3-5-1, 3-5-2-1, or whatever formation they have. He was actually killing it.
He's elite.
Abdullah, wallahi, defensively, I agree with you, wallahi. Very good defensively.
Yeah, he's so
going
strong.
forward, I feel like
Madrid's goal in the Champions League came because of him. It was supposed to be an offside, but he was in.
In terms of you saying decision making going forward, I feel like he's not as great in decision making wise as you put him. I feel like what he does is he runs, he'll do a 1-2 and then he'll just whip it in straight away. In terms of taking a player on, then doing a 1-2, then cutting in, kid, dragging the ball, taking a shot maybe. So like he doesn't have more to his game than that. I feel like he always just whiffs the ball in first time, every time, which is still good for a fullback. Like in terms of if you're rating him that highly at decision making, just that's all I see from him.
Mohammed, if you don't have good decision making, you don't score as many goals as he does, and you don't play for such big clubs like this. And secondly, every time PSG win by a big margin, Wallah al-Azim, I can tell you, I think it's more likely that Ashraf Hakimi is on the score sheet before Messi.
Abdullah, Wallah, I don't want to give the guy a hard time, Wallah, but the league he's playing in, Wallah, with
He's
PSG.
playing in all the other leagues too.
I know, but he wasn't scoring as many goals and stuff like that in terms of dominating.
That's what it's a bit too early to have him top 10.
But I think in world football, he's more rated than Reece James. He's highly rated. Like in terms of ahead of Reece James.
We shouldn't even mention the name Reece James, by the way.
No. I'm saying in general.
اتكلم عن لاعب لما لاعب عمره 18 سنه وكان هلا في ريال مدريد اساسي وعمره 18 سنه بعدين مشى دورتموند ولاعب كويس دورتموند ما كان لاعب عادي لاعب كويس بعدين مشى انتر ميلان
اساسي
فاز معاهم بالدوري اوكي بعد ده كله مشى بي اس جي وعمره كم 22 23 ومن افضل لعيبه الفريق وده يلعب كويس حتى في الوقت اللي نيمار وميسي ما قاعد يعمل فيه حاجه الفريق هو قاعد يلعب كويس مع مبابي قاعد يلعب مع مبابي اوكي وده كله عمره كم 22 23
What about Alphonso Davies? Does he have a heart problem or something, man?
He retired, bro. Alphonso Davies. I think he retired, bro.
What are you talking about? Because that's Aguero.
I think even Davis has
No,
retired.
what he does, he's got a heart issue.
Alphonso Davis.
Yeah, he's got a heart issue.
I think he's retired, bro. I'll check this one out.
It's from the vaccination.
Yeah.
Wallah, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Abdullah, the pharmacist, you know what I'm saying? Don't say that stuff around here.
They're saying he's got information.
Don't be dropping that here, guys.
Huh? You got that.
He's right. I think he's one of the first
AstraZeneca.
اشرف ذينك
We're not giving any vaccination advice, people. Don't take it from here.
Guys, don't get vaccinated, yeah? Don't get, so which means no job. You don't get a job, don't worry about it. You can't pay rent, don't worry about it.
Hassan is talking like the whole world has Centrelink. What are you talking about?
Listen, don't worry about your job, don't worry about your future, don't worry about that.
Anyhow, let's move on. Number 11 on the list, we've got Zambrotta.
Who has him? Who put him on the list, Wallah? Who put him on the list?
Zambrotta,
I had him number 5.
Hassanin, how good is this guy, Wallah?
Yeah, Hassanin put him.
Unbelievable. Azam, have you watched him?
I think you had him,
yeah.
the highest.
No, I didn't have him the highest.
Yeah,
But I had him in like 4th.
Yeah, that's the highest out of everybody.
Oh, out of everybody.
My brother Ibrahim had him on his list, yeah?
No, Ibrahim didn't send the list.
Have you watched him, Azam?
Yeah. Zambrotta, I know who he is, but I haven't watched him.
You haven't watched him? Abdullah, did you watch him? You did watch him.
No, I did watch him, but you know what? World Cup, شوف العيان ده. The other day he was giving me hard time about Fabregas and the assist. World Cup.
Hassanin, the 2006 World Cup. I'm just saying that because
Zambrotta's been great even in the 90s, bro.
I know.
98 Juventus.
You know?
Juventus,
Which
yeah.
2000.
he played for Barcelona, mush?
Dude.
Yeah.
That's all I remember him for, and he wasn't anything special that time.
Oh, by that time he was finished already.
That's only.
If you saw him play in Juventus in the early 2000s,
And Inter Milan too.
in late 90s, 2000s,
Milan, sorry.
wow, bro.
Cause wallah, he's one of those fullbacks. You know how now there's a big emphasis on fullbacks going forward? Yeah. Like there's a big emphasis on that. It's not just the defensive part. He was one guy, been doing that, wallah. Been doing that fast. The decision making was unbelievable.
Decision making, skill, defensive awareness, his whips, and a big game.
You know this
player.
guy. You know how people talk about Cancelos and the Trent Alexander-Arnold or Bita. This guy was that guy then, wallah.
He's the definition of a big game player. Wallah, he won Juve. He won everything in the World Cup final.
Recency, Hassanin. Recency, we're gonna say about that 2006 World Cup. How good was he, wallah?
Amazing. And that was towards the end of his career too.
Now let's move on. We're finally into the top 10. We've got the number 10 player, Kyle Walker.
Trash.
Good.
You trash والله.
Good. Unbelievable, wallah. Unbelievable.
I like this one, wallah. I actually like this one.
Trash. Every time when you comment on him, wallah, you always say, wallah, the guy's good. But I feel like you're just wishing.
I don't like his game. I don't like him. No, it's not. Wallah, I don't like him.
You wish there was a player that you could say is better than him in the but you can't. You can't put on a name.
I tell you what's so funny.
Later Baines is better than him. Like, this guy, wallah, is cooked, wallah. Hassan, wallah, sometimes.
Gordon for Everton's better player than him.
Who the heck is Gordon?
Wallah,
I know who's good and he's trash.
Azam, wallah, you know when it comes to this guy, people, they're just trying to think of someone to say besides him.
Kyle Walker
and you
is a
can't,
beast,
wallah.
bro, wallah,
He deserves wallah to be
Hassanin,
there.
if there's a team that you support and you're 1-0 up and you're getting counter-attacked against and you want one man to stop the counter attack, you want Kyle Walker.
He's a bully, mate. He's a bully.
You want
wallahi.
Kyle
You
Walker.
want
Stop
Zabaleta.
hating,
If I'm
bro.
on the tram and I need a quick seat to sit on the tram, wallah, I need a quick seat to sit on the tram to get to my destination, I'll go Kyle Walker. I'll tell you why. Passengers are us, bas.
Wallahi, unbelievable.
PTV.
We spoke about
Wallahi,
this.
honestly, I'm not mad at that. Wallahi, 10th position.
Yeah, wallahi.
That's not
10th
too bad.
position. Wallahi,
I-
good
I-
to have
I-
it.
I just don't ready. How can he be on top of Zambrota?
Exactly right.
Wallahi, like, you know what I'm saying?
We were just talking about Zambrota, and this guy comes on top.
Oh, in the overall thing, he's.
Yes, Muhammad.
But my list, no way, but.
But do you think...
No way, Hassan. What
Can
are
you
you
even tell
saying,
the
bro?
laces of Zambrota?
Is he better than Cancelo? You're a City fan.
Wallah, you know what? If I had to pick a team,
You'd pick Walker.
I would pick Walker, wallah.
Yeah.
Walker on top of Cancelo?
Because Muhammad is defensively minded, and that's the right thing to have as an attribute when you're picking a defender.
You know when you get a harami like Mbappe running at you? If I'm having a friendly against the PSG and I know there's a harami called Mbappe, I want Kyle Walker to take care of that guy. Wallah.
tell
No
you-
Bro,
Cancelo,
ain't
wallah.
nobody taking care about Mbappe.
Ain't nobody taking care of that.
Wallahi al-Azim, I want Kyle Walker and Mbappe to go one-on-one. I want that to happen so bad. Wallah.
I'll tell you something.
Wallah, do you know what's going to happen?
I'll tell you what's gonna happen.
He's going to be in the boost juice in a smoothie, but...
Blender.
I'll tell you something. The game you're talking about already happened this year in the Champions League. The game you're talking about, Man City played against Paris Saint-Germain, and you know what happened. Messi, I think he scored only one goal this entire year,
Messi's finished.
and he scored it against Man City. By the way, if you watch that game and you watch Kyle Walker, you never see him. Guess what? You never see him. You never see Cancelo. You never see any of these guys.
Listen,
Anyways, let's move on. The next player on the list, right after Kyle Walker, is someone that we didn't look. We all rate, but it's like plain Jane kind of thing. Most people didn't have him, or just had him very low. The person that had him rated the highest was Dyer. Dyer rated him the highest out of everyone here. No, he's not a Chelsea player. Gary Neville.
Yeah, I
I
thought.
love Gary Neville, like, and we talk about like we spoke about it last time, so I don't want to go into it again. But we talk about winners at that position, and to play in the best team in the world, just for 15 years, to start in every starting 11 for 15 years in a team that's winning championship, and for England too.
You can't hate on
who
him.
was his
You can't hate
competition?
on
But I
him.
just want to know, wallah.
When you play for the richest club in the world, and you're even a slight,
You're at the door, bro.
You're at the door at any time, bro. And he was in that situation.
Nah.
The only time towards the end where Rafaelki took
But he was
Yeah.
getting old.
But Hassan, I'm just saying, who was sitting on the bench? That could have came on.
No. This is Muhammad Reece. I don't know if it was Muhammad that says that, but someone was saying that some players, they get in the team because they come to training on time, they work hard.
Professionalism.
Yeah, that lakhbata. That was teacher's pet type of one.
Oh, get off.
100%. Firstly, that's the first thing. Secondly, there's some players where being a local guy helps you a lot, and that was one of them. He came through the academy, class of '92, all of this.
So did his brother.
His brother didn't want to be patient. He wanted to go and play regularly. Gary Neville didn't care about sitting on the bench. He's playing for the greatest club in the world.
But
That's his
he
attitude.
didn't sit on the bench for long.
No.
He did a bench, bro.
Azam, لو كان قعدوا, if he sat on the bench, he wouldn't have minded. He was going to come on and...
Allah, that's the type of attitude he does have, wallah.
Yeah.
And you're right, Abdullah. And you tell Alex Ferguson, he loves that type of player too. He seems like the type, he respects the guy a lot because he comes early.
Boy,
Alex
once he
Ferguson, he
broke-
loves
He loves
that.
the club. He loves his
he
club,
puts
bro.
the club first because
Yeah.
he's a local guy. But عشان كده, things like that, things
And
like
the greatest
that.
pundit and the best pundit ever. I don't give a damn what he
He's
says.
up
I said, bro,
He's
you
up
know, asked my question before, but I was saying who was his backup? Like, say if you got injured, who was gonna?
No, Mohammed, but
No,
he
he
always
never
said, he
played-
always said, no, he always said,
He always felt like he was anxious that he was going to get
yeah,
dropped.
he always felt like he was going to get dropped. He says every summer a new right back came into the club.
Yeah.
No, but they never stayed because they never broke through,
They
Mohammed.
never break through. No team ever. And you know what he always talks about? He always talks about the great centre backs that he played with.
Yeah.
He always talks about like Steve Bruce. You know Steve Bruce, our coach. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah,
He was a great centre back. He took me on his wing first. And then
No, but I think
I'm with Hassanin on that. Like, look, there's favors and that, but like when you're playing for the biggest club in the world,
that you can't. They're not doing. They're not taking any prisoners.
No,
they're
Azam.
not doing anyone favors. Nicky Bart, David Beckham. He came to the class of '92. Like
Now, wallah, you know what? But I do feel like shit when I pinpoint like the professionalism or hadat like this. It is part of the game, but
you should like that. You should love that stuff, bro.
me?
Yeah, this is your kind of shit, bro. You
What,
love that
professional
shit.
Come on time and shit like that.
Yeah.
Wallah, listen, wallah, it is a big part. Wallah, Hassan, as you coach obviously before, wallah. Abdullah, you know that you coach like in.
I've done as coach and dropped.
But how much of that professionalism? How much does that mean to you, wallah,
means
as a
the
coach?
world.
Huh?
So coach, wallah, means the world.
And it meant more to Sami, wallah, than you. I felt like, wallah. To be honest, wallah, Sami Malikin, wallah. I don't know why you guys laughing, wallah.
we used to go wake him up. What on time?
That's so true. Like,
What the hell are you talking about, Kaz?
Wallahi, me, I have so much respect for that guy. Wallahi.
Somebody was doing that, saying what I do.
But you know what, wallahi? That guy, wallahi, I have so much
most
respect.
uncommitted coaches.
Wallahi, that guy, wallahi, I have so much respect to him, like him, that I don't even give a shit about that kind of stuff, wallahi. Huh? Wallahi, when he was on that touchline, wallahi, that was the last thing you thought about, wallahi.
No,
Wallahi, even if he was, you know,
طيب
you
محمد ما
still
تدخل
thinking
تقول
about-
I care about professionalism. You don't. You don't.
You just like the guy.
Exactly, Kaz.
Wallahi, you guys are doing that nigga dirty, wallahi.
That
guy, wallahi.
We're calling out your bullshit.
Wallahi, no, wallahi, that guy, he sat me out, wallahi. I just go, wallahi, for not bringing a water bottle, wallahi. What the hell?
Wallahi, this.
How much more professional is the guy than that, wallahi?
No, maybe he was just having a bad day.
Wallahi, I wasn't having a bad day. Wallahi. And Sammy loves me,
Hey,
wallahi.
boys. Hey, so sad. Shout out to you, bro.
Hassanin, is there any way in the world, wallahi, if it wasn't for that bottle, wallahi, would I ever see on that bench, wallahi?
Anyways.
Huh?
He's fantastic guy, but as Hassanin said, do as I say, not as I do.
Anyways, let's move on.
Unbelievable coach, wallahi.
Number 8 on the list, and this finally we get to speak about him. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Foot.com.au. That's what I'm gonna say, wallahi. What a foot. That is the greatest foot in the history of football.
I don't know, wallahi, if Robertson had a foot, wallahi, people will put him over.
قلنا
If
زمان
Robertson had a foot, he'd be the
Yeah.
one on the list.
No.
With everything else that he brings to the game.
we said about the ifs and buts in a previous episode. ما تقول لنا if.
If it was the fifth, we'd all be drunk. It says in the Bible.
Is he number 8? Number 8? No, is he
I don't want to drag
Yeah,
on
number
to.
eight.
I don't want to
Number
drag
eight,
on
number-
Robertson too much, but wallahi, Robertson.
I had him number 8 on my list.
Hey, number 8.
I said, wallahi, Robertson. Technically, wallahi, he's actually
Homeboy
not
here
that.
didn't have him, by the way.
Trent
I
Alexander-Arnold?
didn't have him
Muhammad,
either. I didn't have him
you're
either.
going
Blame
on.
that nigga,
You're going
man.
on about Robertson. I think Liverpool miss Trent more than Robertson. If the Tsimikas guy plays instead of Robertson, they
Trent Alexander-Arnold
Hassanin,
is
who
the
would you
greatest-
start? Who would you start in your lineup? Him or Robertson?
Gun to my head.
They don't play in the same position.
No,
Yeah.
but
If I had to pick,
say yeah. If you
gun
had
to
to
my head,
pick,
I'd probably
wallahi.
pick Robertson. But I put Alexander on my list at number 8. Because I'll tell you why. Because the assist and the balls he puts
And not
in,
just that.
he affects the game so much from that
that's
position.
the main point. And me and Amr were speaking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
He's doing something a fullback's never done before.
Yeah.
Like he's playing the role in a different way that you've never seen before.
Yeah, he's transcended the position.
Yeah.
I
It's
tell
like,
you
it's
what,
like
I
having
tell
a central midfielder.
You guys
there.
are saying this because you've never seen fullbacks play before. You never.
saying, man?
There's no fullbacks in the Premier League. Not many fullbacks in the middle.
So you're saying the fullbacks in the La Liga are better. That's what you're coming to.
Yeah,
anyway.
La Liga and Serie A, actually they've
Nah,
done this.
nah.
They've done this way
Give us
before.
names.
I'm not gonna give you names.
Some players
Give
not
us
to
a
be good,
player.
no?
Listen, Hassan. Give us a player that's done what Trent Alexander-Arnold done. Yani brought something to the position. Who?
Jordi Alba did
Jordi Alba can't tie his
He
laces.
can't kick a ball to save his life. That guy.
He's way.
He just
He's,
run.
in my.
كلام فارغ.
I tell you something. This guy.
Midfield, putting assisting, free kicks. Give me a
I tell you
break.
something. This guy. He's part of the Barcelona team that actually won the 2 Champions League.
As Hassan
Jordi
would
Alba.
say,
Huh?
passenger wallahi.
We're talking about this guy brings something new to this
All you
position.
have
We
to do
haven't
is
seen.
stand at the if you stand at the tram stop,
I tell you something. Neymar and Suarez, they wouldn't have done what they did in Barcelona if that guy wasn't there. If that guy was not there, they wouldn't have done what.
I said, wallahi, sorry, bro, but wallahi, you know the points that you're making. It actually has
One more
actually
thing.
has
One more
nothing-
point that I will make. No. Listen. One last point. Mo Salah wouldn't be scoring as many goals as he's scoring if it wasn't for Trent Alexander.
So are you for?
So
Are you for or against it, wallahi?
I'm not against it.
You're arguing with yourself, wallahi, Hassan.
you talk out of your mouth.
No.
Oh my God, dying.
Wallahi, your brother's on quick, wallahi, azim. He's like this, بس كده بس. Blazing, my nigga, blazing, wallahi.
Off talking Abdullah. I thought the funniest thing in my life.
It's not that funny, guys. Slow down.
You know what Hassan Alves
You know,
is?
if you hop on the tram, eventually end up in the middle.
I tell you something. All the names
That's
we're
a good
gonna
one,
mention now.
Abdullah. You know what Hassan Alves, you know when he talks, he's like Travis Scott, you know, in the antidote, and he's in space like this. Like this. For this life I cannot change. Let's
Don't worry about what I'm gonna say now. I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna say nothing about that.
Hey,
I'm done.
let's conclude by saying We've never seen anyone do what, as Abdullah said, we've never seen anyone doing that from that position. This guy will do it, and we probably never will.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a foot like that. Free kicks.
It's so English though, right? Isn't it?
It's so English, but
Not
it's
Azam.
no, it's
You
not
know,
like
you gotta understand.
It's out of this world.
That kicking a ball requires skill.
Skill, bro.
It's not
And that's
easy,
nothing
bro.
that any English fullbacks have ever had. So it's not really something English.
David
wallahi.
Beckham had that. He can cross a ball.
No,
Yeah,
they're bringing across the ball, but not at
Different.
that,
It's
not with the pace and
It's
the,
not. Yeah, it's not a ping like
It's
that.
not a ping like this guy. This guy can
This
make the ball
guy?
skate. It's like throwing a rock in the pond.
But are we saying that because his ability to like the way he'll do it, or is it because he's doing it from that position?
He just happens to be in that position.
Exactly.
In terms of the quality, that's comparable to any other position on the field.
Yeah.
You can compare him to De Bruyne in terms of technical ability and passing, and he's up there, cuz. Mafi, it's
And
not.
his defending is not as bad as people make it sound
It's
like
not,
it is.
but it's not all that. Wallahi.
No,
It's
but
not all
what
that.
it is? No, wallahi, no. Amr and I were talking about this. If it's not a requirement for the job, why does he need to have it? Why are you holding it so high? I tell you why it's not a requirement for the job, because the system that they play at Liverpool, the fact that he's in such a strong team with hard-working midfielders and the centre-backs are that strong, he doesn't need to be that good. So the fact that he doesn't have that, you shouldn't hold that against him, because he doesn't need to.
Are we contradicting our point? Because when we're talking about centre backs, we're saying that defending is the number one priority. We're saying that everything else that comes with that is a bonus. Do you think we're contradicting ourselves when we talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold not having that defensive skill first? Because that's the number one priority if we're talking
No,
about
I tell
defending.
you why,
wallahi.
Mohammed. Because to this Liverpool team, what he provides going forward is more important than his defensive duties. It is.
In this Liverpool team, Abdullah.
Yeah, man, that's what you're judging him
Abdullah,
on.
but if this
we're
guy
not
was to
judging him
move-
based on his Liverpool career only. We're just basing against the other players that aren't
No,
playing for
but-
Liverpool, that aren't playing in that system.
Yeah,
for
But
example.
that's unfair, Abdullah, because we're talking about...
Where he's doing it in that Liverpool team. Everyone else did it wherever they did it. That's not his problem. He has to do it in this Liverpool team, and he's outstanding.
Okay,
That's all you can judge
we
him
have
on.
to compare all of his attributes.
Attributes, because we're talking about the greatest fullbacks. So we'll have to, you know what I mean? That's the point I'm trying to get.
الفرق كنا نتكلم عن اشرف حكيمي نفس الحاجه
لا بس اشرف حكيمي
لا اشرف حكيمي لكن نتكلم عن لاعب عمل حاجه دي في كل فريق ما هو الفريق اللي نظام الفريق نفسه قاعد يساعد اللاعب يعني زي مثلا ارنولد وكذا
fantastic point والله.
شايف كيف؟
That's a fantastic point. But Ashraf Hakimi, Mohammed, defensively, he's there. But we already said that. واحنا قاعد نقول شنو here? We're saying that that's for a defender.
He's
That's
just
a number one
average
thing.
as a defender. He's average.
Average as a defender.
He's not
so does that
really
affect?
bad
Does
like
that affect him being on this list? In a way, wallah.
I don't think so. I think
Why?
he can still make the. Because you just said it. He brought something to football that you've never seen before. And anyone who does that, like Makaleli, for example, we were talking about the other day,
Unbelievable.
easy.
Makaleli has the heart of two men, wallah.
That's what we're saying. If you bring something new to the,
Yeah, I
to the
know.
game,
To transcend a position is the hardest thing to do in football. And let's keep going because I want to hear a name.
Hasan's boy
For us, I'm crying.
is coming, huh?
For a teaser rolling down my eye.
let's move on. Number 7, I have nothing to say about him. I put him on my list. I put him last on my list. Everybody pretty much had him. Patrice Evra, number 7.
Beast. Where did I have him? I had him higher, didn't I?
I think I missed. I think I left him.
I had him 4th.
Yeah, Hassanen, you had him 4th.
This guy's a weird guy, bro. What's wrong with you, man? Patrice Evra, bro.
Mohamed Alfa, you had him 4th as well.
He licks
Very
a
high.
raw. He licks a raw chicken. You saw that shit, Adana? This guy he's cooked up there, bro. Wallah Azim, his cookies and cream, wallah.
Yeah. He might be cool, but I'll tell you something about that guy. Just his chest, his arms, just his presence on the field.
He was a super athlete. Remember how Warsama used to be for your team?
Yeah, what's up,
Bus
Jalal?
up and down.
Yeah, what is up, mate?
والله موره
And
بجد.
the way he run too, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think of Warsame, wallah? Do you think
Energy.
that guy-
Warsama Jalal, I thought was going to be the GOAT. Wallah, I once say,
Vision and scouting. 2 thumbs down.
Wallah, dirty, wallah. I reckon, wallah.
Warsama Jalal, I once say, first of all, he was the most
he had a wonder season for you. I remember.
2011 season,
Not just that.
book it, lock him in, and the effort he puts in,
But that's what I was
and the
gonna say.
improvement,
Maybe track and field has an.
No, Abdullah, fullback. And the improvement he made from the start of the season to the end of the season.
And this is where I'm going to cut it off.
Cause wallah, like you know what we're talking about.
Warsama, I love you, wallahi. I love you, Warsama. If you're watching this, and I know you're going to watch this, I love you, bro. Azam, don't edit it. I love you, Warsama Jalal, wallahi. I just thought you were going to be a greater athlete, so let's just leave it at that.
Attribute,
You know what I'm saying?
his attributes, wallah, like he was quick. His goal scoring was good.
Who are we talking about here?
Yo, what's up, mate? I love him, wallah, I love him. And personality-wise, unbelievable too, wallah.
لا زين كيف ايش كتب؟
We're talking more about
you know-
non-flying players than we are talking about this
That's
list.
what we're here for, guys.
You know what? You know Patrice Evra? You know what Patrice Evra like in? I haven't watched him. actually didn't watch enough of him, like, honestly. But the guy, he still looks like he can still play. Wallah. Yeah.
But just everyone was. It's like a. You don't switch the ball that way. You just go.
Yeah, you know how we're talking right now about how Reece James is the most complete?
Yeah.
That's how he used to be.
No goal scorer. I forget about like the players on that wing. The coach will tell you, hey, don't play the ball that way.
He will
Just
take the
stick
take
on that
the winger
side.
out going forward.
So you gotta tell you, technically, he was taban, yani.
No.
He was good, but it
He was
wasn't amazing. But the way
So what do you mean
defended-
by keeper?
No, as the opposition team.
Like you
Don't
can't-
play
you
that
can't
way.
break through that.
Nothing's
Yeah.
breaking through.
Yeah.
Nothing's getting through him, and he won the Champions, and he was a great player in Monaco before he even got to.
So this guy, I wanted to watch highlights on him, wallah, because we
So
brought him
everyone-
up. We brought him
Even
up.
Juve والله هذاك
I think we
Yeah,
brought him
yeah,
up.
yeah.
after he went to
Sorry.
Juventus, it was good.
But at Man United between 2005 2012, at Man United,
Yeah, that Man United team was lit.
So this guy, quick,
the most
quick,
athletic,
strong.
1v1, he can't get past
Crossing is
him.
good.
One view, forget about
Everything.
it. And his cross was unbelievable, and he was a good leader too, like good.
I think you would have, if you would have rated him highly. You see how you rate Robertson now? That's how he was, with a little bit more flair.
Yeah, a
when
bit more
going
flair.
forward, a little bit more.
All right, let's move forward. Number 6. This is an interesting one. Javier Zanetti.
Well, like, you know what?
Just missed out on my.
He made. Well, like, you know what? He made my list only
Abdullah,
because
you didn't have him.
But he was
Yeah, just missed out.
the definition of, you know, we're talking about plain James.
Yeah.
That
He's another one like Gary Neville, I think.
Wallahi, spot on. Wallahi,
Yeah,
Abdullah,
yeah.
good call, bro.
Huh?
No.
Yeah. يعني شنو؟ So what?
No, professional.
Yeah.
Don't lock down.
شغل. احنا جايين نشتغل like
Yeah,
that.
just engine, but plain.
So professionalism was very similar to Gary
Yeah.
Neville. kid.
No,
Nah,
But
Abdullah, he was the best at his position at
he
his club.
was, bro.
Yeah,
You
so
guys
was Gary
are.
Neville.
That's it. That's good enough.
That's what I'm saying. But
No, it's good, Abdullah. It's
No,
good enough.
but this guy
if you're
wallah-
playing for big clubs, Abdullah, we're not talking
What
about
about
playing State League One here,
Inter
brother.
Milan,
And
bro.
your dad's the coach or something. You're
Champions-
playing for Champions
Inter
League
Milan,
teams,
Champions
bro.
League final.
the 10 that I put ahead of him, I think have a little bit more to them.
I say, wallah, I mean, I
That's
thought
what I'm
you would
saying.
rate
I
him
think,
more
wallah,
than
you
what
guys-
you're
you
talking
guys-
about him now.
No, wallah,
I thought you would rate him more than what you're talking about him now.
Hold on. No. I feel like we're not. When it comes to longevity and appreciating someone who does it for a long time, we don't give the credit.
It's a
bro.
skill. It's a skill, but people mistake.
It's not a skill. You know what it is? It's hard. You know what they say? Everyone says that. It's hard to get to the top, but it's even harder to stay there, bro.
I get Azam,
But
but
Azam-
Azam, you can't. People mistake longevity with greatness. Like I'll give you an example. My brother showed me something today. You know Gareth Bale? He scored more goals. You know he scored more goals.
Than Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldo. All
He
them
scored
guys.
more goals than Ronaldo. More assists than Zidane. It's crazy shit, wallah.
Like if you have a short, I'll give you like the Lizzo example I gave. He had
career was-
very short.
The peak was.
The peak was very short, but it was immense what he achieved. Zanetti was just
Lizzo
smooth sailing, bro, along the whole way. And what did he ever really achieve?
What do you mean, bro? He won Champions
I
League. He won the
know,
league.
that's what
the
you-
league a couple of times.
Because he won the Serie A, which means only.
Yeah.
He
Serie A
didn't-
and the Champions
He
League.
didn't win the Copa America. He didn't win the World Cup.
He didn't win anything with Argentina.
He didn't win that either.
Yeah. He just won the league and the Champions
That's
League.
it. He won one Champions League, and by that time he was already in his older age. Michael was a better defender at the time than he.
Yeah, and Azam, don't tell us you're not comparing him to these. We're comparing him to other elite players. So if we don't include him in our top 10, we're gonna talk shit about them.
I was Mohammed, but was he the best defender? Was he even who was the best defender on the Inter Milan team?
Lucio,
Maicon, Materazzi.
There was big players.
He wasn't even the best.
He was the captain because he comes early.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
No.
Listen to these titles.
Yeah, he won a lot. Serie A أول حاجة stacked. He's got like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Coppa Italia like 5.
Oh Jesus.
What do you mean, Jesus?
Yeah.
He's had trophies.
He's won it, bro.
UEFA Champions League, of course. He got
One,
one.
but he was carried. He was a passenger on that one.
Okay.
They had a good team, Hassan. You
Hey,
can't blame
he
him.
won the Champions League as a passenger, and he won a bunch of Serie A's. Yeah.
So Gary Neville had a crazy team. So why do we make that same argument for Gary Neville? This guy,
Boys,
صح والله.
If you're saying they're similar, then it should be okay for them to both of them to be on
Supposed
the
to
top
be
10.
on. Why was
That's if I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying the 10 that I put up ahead of them.
No, we're not talking
have
about
a little
you.
bit more.
We're
to
talking
them.
about the top
you
10
guys didn't put this much flag on Gary Neville?
Yes.
We
Then
did,
you know,
Mohammed,
Zanetti.
but he's
No,
saying-
I said the same thing.
He said the same
I
thing. I
said-
agreed. He said
But
the
Plain,
same.
boring.
it's not wallahi. Wallahi, it's not. This guy's playing at a different
Even
level,
if
bro.
he's the Gary Neville, does he make the top 10? That's what I'm trying to say.
I
made-
wouldn't argue if he
he
made
made-
your top 10, but he's not in mine. That's what I'm saying.
I think if Gary Neville makes it, this guy.
He
makes
made
it.
he made it.
Gary
He
Neville
was-
was
he
last
was number 7 on my list, bro.
Gary Neville's
If
last
Gary
one.
Neville makes this list, Zanetti should make this list.
Yeah, well.
Wallah lazim.
He made this, and I regret it. And I regret putting it
Tomato,
on.
tomato.
I tell you something. This is my last point for today, by the way. Very last
Why
point.
did you say that?
I want to make if you guys say Alexander-Arnold had a better foot than Zanetti, I'm not gonna say nothing.
What, better foot?
Yes.
100%.
Okay then. I said,
I'm done for today.
you lost us all. I've never seen someone lose someone people so quickly. Wallahi.
والله دريتي
خلاص
that wasn't actually.
Let's move on.
I tell you something.
The only reason he's made top
you
10
guys-
was because of his thighs. He had the best thighs.
I want to say something. You guys, you guys are Premier League fans. That's why you don't appreciate nobody else. And there's one name. If you guys don't mention today, then this is when we know this is a Premier League podcast. Premier League bias. One name. If you guys don't mention today, I will know it. I'm just waiting for that name not to be dropped.
Zanetti, he went into the gym. شفتها? He went on the leg extension machine for 3 hours.
He really wanted to say that so
والله
bad.
he had squats for days والله. Unbelievable.
خلاص
Like this
all
was-
right. Let's move on. This one is an interesting one. This next one, this is a lot. Number 5, Cafu and Marcelo.
Unbelievable, boys.
Cafu
And Marcelo.
is number one. You know, is it my list? You know, I put Cafu on my list. I'll tell you where I put him.
You know what, wallahi?
Second.
I'll tell you why. Because anyone watched that nigga play?
Nobody can argue with that, wallahi. I reckon he should. Maybe even first, wallahi, should be.
Wallahi,
But,
yeah,
yeah, wallahi.
Hey, put him first. I'm a man. I know you can't put him first.
Why?
Or there's a unanimous first.
I want to hear this unanimous, wallahi. I actually don't know who you're talking about, wallahi.
Nah, I think wallahi Cafu, I reckon could be higher.
Cafu.
Cafu,
The
as
fourth-
Amir would say.
Could be higher.
But this
He's 5th right now.
This is shameful, wallahi.
Yeah.
So, sorry. This list, so it's the least people that vote for someone, the lower he is, yeah?
Yeah. We've been doing this for how many weeks?
I know, wallahi. Wallahi, that shit is hard, wallahi. Wallahi, that structure is hard.
How can Cafu be outside the top 3? That's the abomination. This guy was a captain of a World Cup squad, a Champions League winning squad, and he was such an effective player, bar. Going forward, locking it in. He's like, I know I don't want to sound like a broken record, but then like, he's complete.
He's a complete, wallahi.
How many World Cup? Like 3 or 4? How?
No,
how
two.
many-
1994, I think, Jay.
2002, he played.
94,
captained
he
them.
was there. 98, he was a runners-up.
2006 though, man.
No way.
He was captain.
Like,
Giving them fire جلحات.
Free Macca's advertisement.
Free Macca's.
I don't know, wallahi. What about Bosingwa, wallahi?
Yeah, them niggas are
That
doing
nigga,
But wallahi, I think,
That's all here.
you know, when I
like
say
this
fullbacks that have a little bit to them, Marcelo should be a little bit higher. I know you niggas have what Hassanin especially has one guy in mind, but in terms of flavor,
I think Marcelo is the most skillful fullback ever.
But you know what, wallahi?
No one comes close.
But I gotta go back to his
If you want to
defending,
talk, if you want to talk Brazilian,
Azam, wallahi, we all know about your obsession with Brazilians.
Brasileiro.
Wallahi al-Azim, he is a Brazilian
And
and a
Marcelo,
half.
wallahi, he made my list only because defensively, I feel like he could be.
Nah.
He got lucky hard.
He was actually the guy with all regis, wallahi, for a defender, wallahi, for a fullback. Cause wallahi, he was nice to the eye.
Was that doing the tango?
nah.
You know what I mean?
You know, we were saying Carvajal wasn't an important part of the Real Madrid team. This guy was. If if Carvajal comes out of the team, it's okay. If Marcelo did, it's not. Wallahi, he was that important.
I tell you something.
Enough about talking about
I tell you
Marcelo.
about Marcelo. Last year, Real Madrid
I
won.
think it's the
No,
last
tell
point.
me. No, you talk about Marcelo now. You talk about Real Madrid. I'm not gonna stop, yeah? You talk about Real Madrid now. Last year, Madrid lost every single game that Marcelo started.
That Marcelo started.
حسنين
He's on the way down.
19th season والله قاعد اتكلم و 18th season
Yeah, والله. ده أخوك ده والله
كلم.
he's
Hassanin, you had him on your list. If you don't rate him, why are you saying this?
He was in my list to fill in. That's it.
So you don't rate him?
Fullbacks.
ما بعرف كورة أقول له.
Anyhow, let's move on.
No, we're not
Number 4.
moving on.
Hey,
I dedicate a minute extra to Cafu, bro.
said everything you wanna say about him.
World Cup, 2002 World Cup, 2006 World Cup.
عجوز.
He's still around.
Squad player. 98, he was one of the elites. 2002, he was at his prime. 2002, and he won the Champions League in 2005 with AC Milan, and then he went to World Cup again. What
Yeah,
a
he was-
fucking!
he was- he
that's
was-
top 3 player of all. That's top 10 player of all time. You can argue. Wallahi.
Yeah, he's
Wallahi,
great career.
Wallahi, you can argue he's an all-time player, let alone in that position. So in that position, he has to be top 3.
No, but والله it's unfair to Marcelo كمان to be that low.
والله مارسيلو ستول اوفر والله عيب والله يا جماعه مارسيلو
You ready, Mohammed?
والله مارسيلو يا اخي كنت تقول كانسيلو سكيل ما سكيلز كانسيلو ده يعني بالنسبه لمارسيلو ده كان احسن من كانسيلو بكثير مراحل يعني نتكلم عن لاعب اول شيء مهارات حلو قدام ورا ما تقول لي ما تقول لي ما في ورا
والله ما في ورا.
ما تقول لي ما في ورا لا دقيقه اصبر انت قاعد تتكلم لما تقول لي مثلا ورا ما في ما عندك تقول فريق ريال مدريد كان يعاني في المركز ده، كانوا تعبانين ال 15 سنه دي كانوا مع مرسلو تعبانين.
ما صار لي هاد ون.
لا احس مثلا انت حسي كتقول مثلا ارنولد مثلا كتقول لي مثلا ارنولد تعبان في دفاع مثلا تعبان، لسه ما شفناه احنا مثلا لما الفريق تعبان. يعني مثلا حسي ارنولد لو قاعد ب10 سنوات وهو نفسه زي ما هو ما حد يقول لك والله كان تعبان في الديفنس مثلا، ما حد يقول لك لانه ما الفريق نفسه ما قاعد يعاني بالجهه دي، ما قاعد يجي مقوال من الجهه دي. ريال مدريد نفسه تقول مثلا مارسيلو قدام اوكي يعمل كده لكن ورا تعبان. طيب اوكي وريني موسم واحد يعني او سنه او سنتين ريال مدريد كان الجهه دي كان تعبان فيها او عانى فيها. حسي مارسيلو من بعد ما نزل مستوى مرته اصابه ريال مدريد الى الان ما قدروا يجيبوا لاعب بداله الى الان.
That's a good point والله. It's not gonna happen a lot. It's not gonna happen a lot, especially that team that he was in. That I know, but
you missed the point. You missed the point.
Muhammad, you know why? Because Champions League, we're a Champions League, they're winning. You can't say for 10-15 years the guy is playing there and holding that position. You can't say because it's never been seen as a weakness. That side of Real Madrid, teams would have attacked that side if he was a weakness defensively. Nobody went that side. They didn't. Mafi, it's not a weakness.
It's a weakness. He was a weakness.
It's not a weakness.
That's the only reason. That's one of the reasons that Mourinho transferred what's his name, Ramos from a right back to a centre back, because of the Marcelo weakness. Because he saw there's a lot to his attacking game, and he brought Ramos to cover up that
Wallahi, that's a good point. Why you guys not talking about that? Wallahi, me for that guy only had one word, brother.
Let's move on. Number 4 on the list, we've got Ashley Cole.
unbelievable.
Let's move on, wallahi.
Let's move on because we spoke about him
Wallahi,
too
let's
much.
move on.
Should we just can we just agree that he could break through to the top 5?
No way.
Top 5? I think he's not better than Cafu.
He's not better than Cafu. I wouldn't have him ahead of Marcelo.
When we're talking about
either.
Cafu and stuff, we're talking about. I'll put him ahead of Marcelo.
I'll put him ahead of Marcelo.
I told you in the start of this episode, if I hear the name of
Right
Ashley
in
Cole,
there.
we know it's wrong.
He's not getting into the top 3, fourth. He's definitely in there. Bro.
I think he can break through the top 5.
Fourth, he's definitely in there, bro. Fourth.
I reckon he can.
I'm not mad at it. It's not an atrocity, but
Like
The only people that didn't have him was Tamir and Samatar.
Tamir, man, this is what I mean when I was talking before. Tamir, when we talk about hasn't.
what's he about? So they don't put Cafu on the list, and the list is still considered valid.
Yeah, wallahi, that's a great question, Hassan.
Wallah Azim.
This is why it's tough for people to get on this podcast.
And they can't even use the excuse that they didn't watch him because they put players on the list that they didn't watch.
Wallah, I'm sorry, but everybody's watched Cafu. Wallah, even that guy's probably watched Cafu. Everybody's watched Cafu. Who hasn't watched
Or everyone
Cafu?
played FIFA excited and put him on the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
I seen that 80. I seen that 93.
You know what?
96 pace.
And
All right,
the
let's
actions
move on.
of
Let's move on.
life.
This one, top 3 now. Number 3, Philip Lahm.
Okay, this is what I was waiting.
Does he
This the name you're waiting for, huh?
Overall clap?
No. Only one person does a clap in this podcast. Tell it times one.
Ayan that.
There's only one clap coming.
Let's continue on. Philip Lahm.
I loved him, but I didn't make my list, but I love him.
You forgot him. That's what it is. And
clap is for
if
him.
you remember him, you put him in.
You just confused me for that comment.
100%.
What are you trying to say when I said clapping?
It's not deserve it.
Nah, this guy thinks there's only
Because
one.
who's coming number 1? We all should just, huh?
But Hassani, you completely didn't have him on your list.
I honestly actually forgot about him.
Oh, you forgot?
I forgot.
100.
I don't Google. I think. You know what I mean? Like who's the greats?
Sometimes you need to Google just to give you a quick refresher.
No, after you have your 10, then you Google.
Yeah, but Philip Lahm was
That's
a great
what you
player.
gotta
Wallah,
do.
he was a great player, man. And a great winner. He won everything.
Yeah.
Wallah Azim.
He won everything. Azam, not
I
Zanetti.
can't say one negative thing about him.
Yeah.
I can't wallah.
Why is Ashley Cole in that list, please? Can someone please explain to me? I don't understand football. Can please someone explain to me why is Ashley Cole in?
Let's see.
in any of
He's good defensively. He's good going forward. He played
Yeah,
for
what
like
did he
20
do?
years.
What
He
did he
won the
do?
Champions League. He won the league. How many times? He was an invincible with Arsenal. Dar شنو انت ثاني?
He's the best English, one of the greatest
The
English
best
players of all
English
time.
left back of all time.
That's crazy. Wallah.
Azam.
Philip Lahm, 60 yellow cards, 0 red cards, whole career.
He is the definition. You know, he's like nice Gary Neville and Zanetti coming on time with ability.
Sounds like a bit
That's
of
what
this.
he is.
What do you mean, cuz?
60 yellow cards and not one red card?
It's like N'Golo Kante getting a red card.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
He was so like a clean player
And he understood time and position and
and a classy captain and a top footballer. He played in midfield for Pep Guardiola. Faham.
He's one player that just understood that role so well, wallah. He reminds me of. Maybe we're gonna name this guy. I don't know if we're out.
And you
no,
know,
no, no,
and you know, when Azam, when you were saying at the start, even if you're not athletic, you can play in that position. He's proof. He wasn't super
And sometimes
quick.
he used to go and
wasn't
play in
super
the
straight.
midfield sometimes.
Yeah, he did. He played in midfield.
But
for Pep.
he's the definition when we want to talk about great footballers. He's a great footballer. Yeah, he's a great footballer.
He's
And
the
I'm not
type
mad
if-
at him, but
if-
he didn't make my list. I'm ashamed they didn't make my list.
He was pretty quick, wallahi.
And what number is he? 3?
Number 3.
He's
I'm
deserves
getting
to
close
be
to.
up
We're
there.
getting close to the name.
All right, let's discuss them both together. Let's get into it. Number 1 and number 2.
Who's number 1?
Number 2 first.
Yeah, I know.
عشان حسن lose his mind.
It's because I woke up.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna break your heart. Number 2, Roberto Carlos. Number 1,
No,
Dani
no,
Alves.
I knew Hassanin you were gonna get disappointed.
No, who's number 1?
Dani Alves, number 1.
Ahead of Roberto Carlos?
Roberto
Rubbish.
Carlos, number 2.
Rubbish.
Hassanin, mate, you gotta understand.
You
this,
gotta
the whole
understand
thing.
something. Wallah, let me go say something.
Hassanin, wallah, he's heartbroken.
Wallahi. You understand something, yeah, wallahi? And
No, let him.
when talk about goats, yeah? Roberto Carlos, technique, he can switch the ball, he can cross the ball with his back heel. You're there from the corner.
He scored the corner before, by the way.
Wallah lazim.
He scored the corner.
Shots, cross the ball, lockdown defender.
Hey, the goal
Body.
against France, huh?
Engine, come on.
Engine.
شغل.
He can be see the greatest goal, arguably one of the greatest goals of all time.
The
Probably
greatest free kick of all
greatest
time.
goal of all time.
Greatest
When the
free
ball went
kick.
like,
Against France.
And he also set up one of the greatest Champions League goals of all time. As well.
is he done?
Yeah.
That was an
Who's
easy
That was a
one.
howler, but we'll just
That
give it to
was an
Hassanin
easy
for now.
one. That was an easy one.
Have you seen his recent free kick like him, Roberto Carlos? You know where he went? I went to Mars, nigga. That's where he went. Wallahi. Boom!
You always talk about when I see anyone do what Alexander-Arnold as both in position. Roberto Carlos was having fun at there, bro. He's actually he was doing party tricks in crosses.
Yeah.
On top of
Wallah, I
Carlos.
think do you want I was made on my list? Number 10.
Number
and
8
and I had to
or
put him just on my list only because he was in that position, blah, blah, blah. Like he done it enough for a long time.
You
can't say
you
this
speak
guy.
about longevity like it's important. This guy is longevity with success, which equals
But he's
greatness.
not
The
You
most
don't-
successful
footballer
Ever.
completely.
ever.
Footballer, not footballer.
Footballer. Ever.
Ever.
But we
Most
can't,
trophies.
but we can't give him credit for just a show.
Like I said, I'm not saying, I'm not gonna say he's a passenger. I'm not gonna hit him.
Listen, the other
I'm
time
not
when
gonna
you
hit
no,
No,
the
not
other
a
time-
passenger, but unbelievable players around him.
Don't even start with the passenger stuff. The other time when you're talking about who, you're talking about Kante. All I do is win, Madrak. This guy, come on. Every team he goes to, he wins. Same thing. Don't even get me started.
But we're talking about ability-wise, but is he up there?
Yes.
How many trophies
Hey,
did he win?
whoa!
Hassan doesn't
Was he the
matter.
greatest player in his position?
No, Azam, I think Hassanin, what you're arguing is Roberto Carlos was the first fullback to be so complete.
Dani Alves can shoot. Dani Alves can shoot. He can't score free kicks, but Dani Alves can shoot. He scored a lot of goals for Barcelona. Yes. He had so many assists going forward. Don't even get me started on that. And he can play in the Barca system. He can actually pass.
That was my only, that was the point. Hassi, no. Dani Alves can't shoot like Roberto Carlos, but Roberto Carlos can't play the tiki-taka that Dani Alves did.
Definitely not.
Because the tiki-taka is due to the team he's
Wallahi,
playing with,
who
that's
are-
why.
No, he's got the ability. If Roberto Carlos is thrown in that team, he doesn't do the job. He doesn't. He
You can throw
doesn't.
Roberto Carlos on any team in any time in history.
Let me ask a question. How many World Cups did he win? Dani Alves. How many World Cups?
Oh, yeah.
Why is that?
So what Roberto Carlos? Hey,
Why
listen.
is that?
If Dani Alves was born 3-4 years earlier, he would have won it. Khalas.
No, would've, wallahi.
And
he
he's
still-
Roberto Carlos won everything that Dani Alves won, but Roberto Alves won it more. And minus World Cup. And Roberto Carlos won.
Yes.
So,
No.
and you
But
can't even make
no.
an excuse for Dani Alves not winning the World Cup because he still had, no, he can't, wallahi. He still had a good enough team, wallahi, to win it.
No,
Wallahi,
he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he compared to the team that Roberto Carlos was a part of.
Nah, man.
Exactly.
Because Roberto,
Don't talk to me about
Brazil.
Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Kaká. Come on, bro, slow down.
Thiago Silva, Casemiro, wallahi, that team is good enough, wallahi, to win the World Cup, wallahi.
Wallahi,
Wallahi, they are.
In
Slow
2002,
down.
Brazil weren't penciled in to win the World Cup. Well, they won. You guys think they were, but they weren't.
No, they
No,
won, but they had the best
weren't,
team.
But because people didn't
really.
really know about like Ronaldinho, and nobody thought that R9 was gonna come back like he came back.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But yet the quality,
Individuals, yeah?
Yeah.
It was more individual than
Italy
team.
had a
yeah?
better team at the time.
maybe.
Was he
Wallahi
part of
he
that
did.
game against Germany? Dani Alves? Huh? There was a game in the entire.
The World Cup history, I think it was.
cares, bro.
Do you think Hassan and Allah individuals sometimes?
You're talking about trophies right now. I feel like Dani Alves is actually a better player than Roberto Carlos. I really think he is.
No way, wallahi. No way. No
He
way.
did it first. I'll give you that. He did it first. But Dani Alves, wallahi.
Hey, Roberto Carlos was actually having fun on the field.
Bro, you want to talk about having fun? Please just go on YouTube. Just write Messi and Dani Alves. Alek Allah, just go watch. There's like a 10
not
minute
gonna
video.
do
Messi, the greatest player of all time.
Wallahi, he is actually having fun.
Wallah, Hassan and me, I feel ashamed.
Definition.
I didn't
They're
put him on
playing
my
indoor
list.
together,
wallah.
bro.
I didn't put him on my list at all, wallah. I'm ashamed that Roberto Carlos, wallah, I didn't put him on my list. Shame on me, wallah. But Dani Alves, that Sakran looking guy, bro. No way he makes my list, wallah.
No,
Guy
you had Roberto
Guy
Carlos.
looks
on
like he
your
was born in Holland, but that guy, wallah.
No, he had Roberto Carlos. He didn't have Dani Alves though.
Sakran, brother.
Nah, Dani Alves.
Dani
Definitely,
Alves?
Definitely.
Sakran.
Dani Alves was, well, Dani Alves, I'm not going to say overrated, I'm not going to say a passenger, but he's a tram driver.
He's a quality player, bro.
Impossible. If you're
He's
telling
a
me that,
quality
والله
player,
حرام
bro.
عليك.
الله يستعين بس.
حساوي انت your issue
Bro,
is
انت
no
ثاني وشفت ايش؟ يا يحب اللاعب يصير اللاعب ده كبير
والله
يا ما يحبه خلاص تعبان.
you're a hit and miss.
يقول لك
والله
ده تعبان،
لازم.
يقول لك مارسيلو تعبان، يقول لك كانسيلو كانسيلو مين كمان ثاني؟
كوتاري يقول you're right والله
Henry.
والله حسن you can't do that والله it's actually very better.
I'm not saying that Alves is trash, wallah I'm not. But to put him in the same, the fact that he make the top 5 over Cafu, over Roberto Carlos is an atrocity.
Hasanin, no, wallahi, it's an actual argument.
It's an atrocity.
No, bro. It's
Dani
it's
Alves,
a
Bro, you were just
conversation.
talking about Zanetti being plain Jane and all this passenger on the bus. Why do you have him ahead of Dani Alves?
Who?
Zanetti.
Because he's better.
I think it's a great better.
Hasanin, you're all about the early 2000s, wallahi.
Nah.
You don't give a shit about anyone that's recent, wallahi.
I watched Dani Alves play a long time.
Nostalgia.com, but getting
Nah.
Nostalgia.com was like
No, I think the best point wallahi is you either put a player
You guys, first of all, you guys need to go back and watch Zanetti and watch all these players that we mentioned because
Wallahi, we
all
watched
of you. I tell you something. You watch Norwich. You go watch Norwich every single day. Yeah, you go watch Norwich and Brighton and all these guys and come talk to me.
Anyhow,
انت بس
that was the list for today.
Roberto
Top
Carlos, wallah, you've been robbed.
Exactly
You've
right.
been humiliated. You've been shamed, but you never forgotten. Wallah, remember that.
Accept our apologies, please.
Wallahi, you've never been
Accept my
forgotten.
apologies.
Wallahi, there was days where him and Denilson would just doing tango on the field.
والله yeah he would be shamed
bless him,
because
والله.
of that free kick he sent to Jupiter and then it bounced the Mars
And he came back and
and it came back again والله.
Anyhow, that was today's video. Make sure you all like the video, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. And if you're on the road and you want to have a listen to this and you don't want to waste data or anything like that, check us out on Spotify. podcast.
cheap ass niggas
That's for the homies, yeah?
I have to help people out.
That's for the hood niggas, yeah?
Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple
the nigga
Podcasts.
that's standing outside his friend's house you know so for that Wi-Fi والله.
That's it for
One
today.
bar.
Boys, do you want to say anything? End this?
all I gotta say is
Bad lists.
get
bad
ready
names,
for all the viewers
bad everything.
subscribe to Travis Scott's channel because you're gonna see Hassan Alf
It's not gonna be there.
huh? For this life I cannot change huh? it.
Thank you guys for watching. Take care and peace.
I got the sauce. I got the sauce. I got the sauce. I got the juice. You other niggas look confused. I got the sauce. Yeah, I got the sauce. I got the sauce. Nigga, I got the sauce. I got the juice. Watch. I got the juice. Watch. I got the sauce. Yeah, I got the sauce.